hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. For those tuning in on Amazon Live, welcome. If you guys are new to us, make sure you guys do hit that follow button. You'll see that here in this corner or down below, and turn on your notifications. That'll keep you posted on all of the programming we do here 6 days a week here on Amazon Live. We definitely want to say thank you for your support of us during Prime Day. I appreciate you all making us have a successful Prime Day this year, and looking forward to more great programming. If you're joining us on Amazon, you will also see the book by our next guest. And he and I were just having a great conversation before this conversation. We're excited to welcome Clement Kwegyir-Afful to our broadcast today. His new book is called Unchained, Success Unlocked. It's hard to believe. I interviewed Clement. He didn't think I was going to remember this in May 2018 on the radio show for his first book. But now we're talking about his second book. There's something I think all of us can relate to when talk to Clement, not only about the writing of the book, but it's been like for him to share it with all of you. And as you guys can see, I see some of you guys are already clicking on it. The Kindle edition is free right now. So you guys could be able to make sure you're taking advantage of that. We also want to welcome our audience tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and on Instagram. Glad you all can be with us as well. Clement, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
I'm glad to be here. Glad to see you again.
And look, the pleasure's definitely all mine. And like I said, really good deal for our audience to be able to go ahead and get the Kindle edition of your book right now. Like I said, it's free right now. They can take advantage of that. I have the paperback here. Clement, it's so cool. Like I said, you and I were having a great conversation. You're joining us live from the UK. I should mention for our audience there, what has it been like for you to write these books and to see the universal nature of what you're discussing when it comes to business and success?
Yeah, so when you look at my first book was mainly on project management.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the tools in that was about objectives and trying to achieve goals. This book is more about for the ordinary person, but also for organizations and also for governments. I mean, it's just distilling all the knowledge that people have heard about. It's like a lot of people talk about visualization. That's how you achieve goals. And they talk about law of attraction. And you hear somebody talking about habits. This is about distilling a framework that entrepreneurs can use, business people can use, projects can use, and to just achieve it. And I've been using that for myself. And my own personal business, my own personal life, my kids, but also helping organizations and projects achieve tremendous goals. So that's what this is about.
Yeah. I should mention, Clement, the subtitle of the book. I mentioned the title is Unchained, Success Unlocked. The subtitle is A Proven Framework for Achieving Your Goals. I want to talk about that because you have this pyramid system that you outline in the book. Goals are there front and center. And what I thought was so interesting, and I actually said to you before we went live here, is that I think this book is great for people both professionally but also personally, because a lot of times we think about things we say we want to do, right? And then it all becomes, okay, why don't we do it? Why don't we achieve that thing, no matter how small it may be or how big it might be? When did you realize the importance of the work behind the goal, Clement?
So basically, a long time back, I was delivering, because I'm in the project management world, I was delivering a program, and I was used to going onto programs and achieving anything. I mean, one of my friends used to say, anything you touch tends to go, because anything I used to do will work. But that particular program, things were escaping me. I was trying to push this, trying to achieve it. It wasn't working because nobody on the project believed it, because we had gone so far back that everybody was saying, looking at history and what has been achieved in the past, there is no way we can achieve this. This will take 2 years. You're asking us to do this in 8 months. So then I realized I need to take a step back. I need to just kind of steady. What do I need to do? Because I just want to achieve the goal. That's me. I want to achieve the objective. So I went back, started studying about all this psychology, what actually causes people to achieve goals. That's when I started pulling all these visualization, laws of attraction, understanding limiting beliefs, what is the Pike syndrome? And then I came up with this framework. Then this held that particular program of works, which everybody said couldn't be achieved, to be hit. We achieved it. A lot of people won. We won so many awards from that. From then, I translated it to organizations. I go to organizations, they say, oh, this objective cannot be met. I use the same framework, looking at their belief system. So if I come to a room now, and let's say we are talking about objective, the first thing I'll ask the team is, do you people actually believe this can be done? And once they say we don't, I know it's not just a plan and an action. I need to work on their mindset. So before they leave the room, I need to make sure I've actually started putting the tools together to change their mindset. and that becomes a journey. So that's the main thing. This is the basics of the book. So I'm sure I've answered your question. Or I don't want to
Yeah,
talk. I said I
no,
have to.
no,
I'm
you
so
did,
passionate
but you
about
brought up
this. I may go on forever. So I
yeah.
want to so that you ask your questions.
No, that was great. But it brings up a really good point here, Clement, and that is, if someone is said, is like, let's just say a employer tells their team that this is what they want to do, this is what they want to achieve. I love the fact that, to bring it down to our audience here, when you're able to ask them, do you actually think you can do it? And if they don't even think they can do it, then that, and again, puts them in a point where they're not going to put forth the effort because they already think it's not going to be done. You address in the
Exactly.
book about the importance of self-limiting beliefs. And I think it's a great connection here, because there are people, I know for myself, I just take myself, for example, growing up where I grew up, I'm living in the poorest state in the United States,
Yes.
Mississippi. And I always said I wanted to be an artist and an author. Well, people used to say to me all the time, well, artists don't make any money. They were just going by what they had heard. You won't be able to
Exactly.
be famous until you're dead. No one reads books, which seems odd today. No one reads books. You're not gonna. So, but I would hear these things, but I didn't embrace it.
That's
I
true.
believed it was possible. So I want to talk about that for yourself, Clement, as you're talking with people, because for some people, goals may seem unattainable. But what does it help? What has it been like for you to help them understand how they can be managed?
Okay, so I'll say a few things for on
Yeah,
just what the belief that you just talked about. So first of
yeah,
all, what we need to understand is our behaviors are driven by emotions, how we feel about things. Yeah, that's what actually drives behaviors. Our emotions are then driven by our mindset or our attitude or our mindset, mental models that we navigate the world with. The mindset is influenced by your belief system. That's what drives your this thing. How do your belief system comes from? Exactly what you said there. When you were a kid, they told you can't do this, you can't do that. It comes from religious, cultural. It could be what people have told you can do, you can't do, what you've seen people do. So, in essence, what you believe is actually driving what you achieve because it drives your behavior. So before you can actually change your behavior and have the motivation to do something, you have to change your belief system. So when you ask a team, do you believe you can do this? If they say no, that means that no amount of planning will enable them to achieve the objective because they are not going to do the actions anyway. So you start from checking that and then saying, okay, I need to work on their mindset. I need to change their belief system. There may be something that they haven't actually thought about. And then you can use the plan to be able to change that belief system so they can actually achieve the objective. And that's what I do for my life, for my personal life as well. If I'm doing a business goal and I'm not being able to achieve it, the first thing I'll do is, okay, is it a goal for me? Is it a dream? Let me think about it. A goal is something that you have control over, first of all.
right.
So you need to understand that. And then you mentioned that, okay, that team leader or the CEO, what is he actually giving his team members? You need to think about it this way. The CEO has a control over the whole organization. His individual team members don't have the whole control. So what he thinks is a goal is not actually a goal for those people, it's actually dreams. So he needs to
Yeah,
break down his goal. He needs to break down his goal and say, you CFO, this is what you're supposed to do in the financial area that helps actually achieve the CEO's objective. So you then look at the CEO's goal, you then break it down to the goals of the individuals. That is when the belief is now improving because first you gave them something that they don't have control over. You've now taken it to their level that gives them control over. Now you check, okay, the one that you have control over, are you able to achieve that? If they start talking about it is impossible, okay, first of all, I'll say something here. I don't use the word impossible. There's nothing like that. It's actually a made up word. Realistic is another swear word I don't like hearing because they are all made up words. This is the reason. Was it possible me communicating with you like this on video 20, 30 years ago? Somebody would have said it is impossible. But
right.
what it actually means is we haven't found a way. You understand? We
Yeah,
haven't found a way. It is unrealistic. It doesn't exist. The made up word. We haven't found a way. So what I try to make teams aware is think about it this way: entrepreneur, a business person, a person, what you call individual. You just haven't found a way. Let's find the way. Formula One. If you look at Formula One like this, 22 people change at 4 tires. Yeah. 1.82 seconds, they set a record. If you ask somebody, they will say it's impossible. You see? So you look at how can we find a way? and you start showing them how they can find a way, you realize that their beliefs start changing. You then start changing their words, the things that they say, and you realize when their belief systems start changing and they start believing it's possible, then you go to the plan. What can I do? Now, what is the plan that we need to put in place? What is the strategy? What is the tactics? What are the things that can actually derail you? Let's put those in place. And then you find the strategies, you find the tactics, which you can find anywhere. Anything you want to do, somebody's done it before. If you want to write a book, somebody's done it before. If you want anything you want to do, if you want to go into real estate, whatever, somebody's done it. You can find that. And then when you get those strategies and tactics, you then start deciding what are the things that will derail me? That's the threats. You then take the threats away. You come up with if-then plans of how to address that. Then, of course, you need to look at the engine. I could go on, but the framework has an engine, which is your inner motivation, why you want to do that. So the CEO, now I'm just saying to the team that is sitting there, okay, why do we want to achieve this? I asked the CEO, why do we want to achieve it? Or the program director, whatever. Why do we want to achieve this? And then I start tying that to the individual's objective. The individual's objective. Why do you think that if you achieve that objective, how is it going to help you? By the time I connect that, I have internal motivation. Yeah. I need to bring tools to change their belief system. I set up a plan for them. I make sure that they actually have individual goals. They are not dealing with dreams. Once I get that, you realize that the team is actually on the line. They're firing. And then they achieve things that they said was previously impossible. Of course, that's a swear word. I said that's a made-up word anyway.
Yeah. That's such a powerful thing. I want to reset real quick here, Clement, and say for those who are just tuning in, welcome. I see you guys coming in over there on IG and Facebook and LinkedIn. Welcome. You all are watching Cyrus Webb Presents. We are streaming on Amazon, but we are also simulcasting this for Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and Instagram. We have joining us today from the UK, Clement Kwegyir-Afful. We're talking with him not only about his book, you guys see here, Unchained, Success Unlocked, a proven framework for achieving your goals. You all can be able to get your copy today, the paperback or the Kindle edition, even the audiobooks available, and also the hardcover as well. For those joining us on IG, hello to you, Lauren. Good to be able to see you. Camilla, hello to you. Lauren says on Instagram, very moving conversation. Thank you for that, Lauren. Appreciate that. Kevin Donaldson, hello to you. Good to be able to see you. P.S. Minna, good to be able to see you as well over there on IG. So I want to talk about what you've been able to do, Clement, when it comes to an international audience. You and I were just talking. I mentioned I had never been outside the United States before. You, though, have been able to work with people literally around the world. How does it feel for you to know that, one, the framework you're outlining in the book has worked for you and helped you reach your goals, but also is now working for people literally around the world?
Okay, so what we talked about in terms of belief system, okay? And belief system can come from cultural and religious beliefs. Mm-hmm. So wherever you go around the world, you will have people with different cultural beliefs, yeah? So the different cultural beliefs, people don't realize, actually drives their output and what they achieve. Like when you said that the area that you came from, they told you cannot be an author, you cannot be this. There are other areas in the world as well where people have been told you can't be this, you can't do that, you can't rule yourself. These statements actually create limiting beliefs, you understand? So it is the same concept. A lot of times I see so many stuff being put on Facebook, and when I watch them, I'm like, you know what you're doing? You're actually training your mind and your body to actually work against yourselves, you see? So although it looks like it may be different in a different culture, that culture, what is actually influenced that particular culture is driving their belief system. Yeah. But the framework is the same. Your engine, if you develop habits for your engine, it's the same. It's going to drive you. If you get your internal why, your internal motivation, it's going to drive you. If you have a plan, which is one of the pillars, it's going to drive you. And that plan will work for anybody. You just have to address the other part here. What am I limiting myself from? I don't know whether the same thing happened to you, but in my country where I grew up, sometimes they say money don't grow on trees. Mm-hmm. You understand? And these statements, they look harmful. They look like harmless, but they are very harmful. People will say, you know what? The love of money is the root of all evil. It's actually, they say money is the root of all evil. But actually what they're trying to get is putting money above everything else is what
Right.
is the root of all evil. But when you say money is the root of all evil, you actually train your subconscious mind. So now your logic mind says, I want to achieve, let's say, financial freedom. But then you are a good person, you don't want to be an evil person. Your subconscious mind, which is more powerful, actually understands that money is the root of all evil. So now you sabotage yourself. You
Yeah.
see, and because and let me give you the power of your subconscious mind. And maybe you leave your office one day, you're going home. Sometimes you say you always drive home, but one day you say, let me pass by the shop and let's say buy something before I go home. Yeah. You sit in your car, you start thinking about something before you realize it's happened to a lot of people. I'm sure people on the platform as well. You drive home, and when you get home, you're like, oh man, I said I was going to go to the shop. You understand? That's how
Mhm.
powerful your subconscious mind is. And it's actually
Right.
more powerful than that. It's always controlling you. So that means that you have to be extremely careful about the things you say, even the people that surround you, the things you watch on social media, the things that you feed yourself is actually driving you to achieve goals that you're not aware of.
Yeah. And that is such a good point. When you were talking, it reminded me of something in the book. I want to actually read this,
So,
Clement, because I think it's so interesting when you were talking about the whys. And I think, for our audience out there, and this is what I thought was so fascinating about this book, which is why I said to Clement before we began the segment, that this book definitely applies for you professionally, but I think also personally too, because you actually kind of made me have a new thought, Clement, when I was reading the book about the comfort zone, how we have to create a new comfort zone for ourselves to be to be able to get to where we want to go. Going back to the example you gave about the team not thinking the goal is attainable, right? So and a lot of that is based on fear. I want to talk about that because that is such a big thing. There are so many people that don't do things because they're afraid of failure. They're afraid of what other people will tell them. They're afraid
yes.
of what it may take for them to do it, what they may lose. What has that been like for you to help people address that fear and to get to that new comfort zone where they realize, you know what, some things are worth the the effort, and also sometimes even the ridicule in the work.
Yeah. So, first of all, let's kind of define comfort zone.
Okay.
So, a lot of times when you say comfort zone, people feel it's an area of comfort. It's not actually an area of comfort. Comfort zone could be an area where you are starving, you are hungry, things are not going very well for you. And your brain is saying, I'm familiar with
Yeah.
this. And
Hmm.
because I'm familiar with this, I don't want to step out of it.
Yeah.
Because once you want to step out of something, your animal brain going back millions of years, says, you know what? I'm actually going into the jungle. I'm going to be in trouble. This circumstance, I already know it. So let's say somebody could even be, excuse me to say, in a very abusive marriage, you
Hmm.
understand? And the person will not want to move out of it. The reason is this here, I know. That out there, I don't know. So that's the
Yeah.
comfort zone. So comfort zone doesn't actually mean you're comfortable. It just
Right.
means that that's where your brain is familiar with. So sometimes what you have to tell yourself is, how do I get out of this? To
Mm.
always stretch yourself to go to the next level. This is why I always say it's always important when you start with your vision. If you want to achieve meaningful goals, because a lot of people are achieving so many goals out there and they will achieve it and finally feel empty. So you need to find out, what is my real purpose in life? For me, like this, I don't want to walk around this world for the next 70 or 80 or whatever years that God gives me. And then afterwards, I haven't achieved anything. That's why I'm on this path. Yeah. So you now have to understand that there's also a research that if you have purpose, let's say likes, people clicking likes on social media and people criticizing you, doesn't actually affect you that much if you have purpose. Is a research that is being proven. So it's important for you to define your purpose first. That's very important. Yeah.
Right.
Then you have to understand that actually what people call failure is not actually failure, is actually a learning process. So everything that you do, if it doesn't go well, it means you've stretched yourself. You understand? People that don't fail at all, they are not actually stretching outside their comfort zone. They are in their comfort zone. They may be billionaires, but they are in their comfort zone.
Right.
Anybody that's actually stretched themselves outside what happens is you need to understand when you go outside your comfort zone, it will feel really uncomfortable. Yeah. Because you don't have the skills and the tools to deal with the next level. So what you have to tell yourself is, okay, you know what? I need to do this. I will feel a bit, on shaky, but I'm actually trying to achieve a bigger purpose. To do that, I need to learn the tools and the skills. So what are the tools and skills that I need to learn? Yeah. And when you have a purpose, you're not worried about people making fun of you. You understand? Because anybody that's actually achieved something great went through some hustling and trivia stuff to be able to get there. And I'll give you an example. I came to UK and I absolutely had nothing. Basically, I had nothing. Seriously, I had borrowed money that I came to UK with. And I had 250 pounds sleeping on people's lounges and stuff like that. And getting food eating when they provide food. When I said I was going to go to, what do you call it? Do my master's degree. A lot of people made fun of me. They said, you don't even have money. You don't even have money to eat. You're still going to go to do your master's degree. So they were making fun at the time. But the whole point was, I knew that although this is comfortable, doing some menial jobs and everything, I'm not saying that is wrong. If that's what you want, that's great. Yeah. But I wanted something more. So stretching myself, even if things will go wrong, it is an opportunity for me to learn. So this is what I always say to people. When you stretch yourself and you make mistake, you are learning. It's a learning process. Life is full of just learning. You make mistakes, you learn. But the thing is, once you learn that level, you no longer come back. Yeah. So you need to define your purpose. To answer your question, you define your purpose, you define the bigger goal, the why, also the reason why staying here is actually detrimental for me. Because what is happening is it is your mind, your animal brain that's keeping you here. Yeah. So you need to tell your animal brain, actually staying here is actually detrimental for us. Yeah. We need to move to the next step. It will give us this. And then you try and give yourself, okay, these are the rewards that we could get. And once you make a small step, take it step by step. Don't take big chunks. So if you give yourself a huge milestone, okay, fine. The milestone is good, but break it into small steps. Yeah. So one step at a time. I'll say something here. If you got up in the morning, just to try and explain the meaning of steps. If you got up in the morning and you said you wanted to tidy your whole house, you always put it off. I mean, the electrician who does my company stuff, my office building, came yesterday and he was saying he read the book and he realized that he wanted to do something in the garden. And he has a house that's been there for 2 years. And for these 2 years, he's not rented the house out because he's been thinking there's so much stuff to do. But when he read the book, he said, let me go out into the garden and just cut the tree. And that's what I'm trying to say. Small step there. You have the big goal. I want to rent the house, but you go and cut the tree. Once you cut the tree, you realize that you go on to the next step. You develop the skill to go to the next step. So develop your purpose. Understand that failure is not failure. It's part of the process of you actually learning. And once you learn, you're not going to come back. Once you've set that milestone, now take small steps. Focus on the small steps. And then what I call process goals, which I can come to, you look at the small process goals, which I can explain to you later on, and you take those process goals. You realize that you move out of that comfort zone, you go into a different area, you will be stretched a bit, and then you realize you become comfortable again, because then you develop the tools, the skills, and then you become comfortable in that region. And then you set another goal to stretch yourself.
Yeah. So many great tips, I think, for our audience here, Clement. And as I mentioned, something they can use personally and professionally. Hello to you. Ty, good to see you over there on IG. Lynn, hello to you. Good to see you. Again, everyone, Clement Kwegyir-Afful has been our guest. The book is Unchained, Success Unlocked, a proven framework for achieving your goals. I told you the 25 minutes is going to fly by, Clement. And I really appreciate you stopping by. Again, the book's available here on Amazon. You all can get it in paperback, hardcover. You can get the audio book as well as, of course, the Kindle edition of the book as well. So make sure you all take advantage of that. Clement, great conversation with you. So glad we had a chance to discuss the book. How can our audience stay connected with you?
You said sorry?
How can our audience stay connected with you?
Oh, so you can go to, I'm on Facebook, but the best place to actually connect with me is called UNCHAINEDforSuccess.com. So exactly that, UNCHAINEDforSuccess.com. Now, on that website, I write blogs for free. So every week, I write 1 or 2 blogs, because that's actually a goal I've set myself, that every week, regardless of how tired I am, regardless of wherever I'm in the world. I'm going to write 1 or 2 blogs, and those blogs will be posted on that website and posted on LinkedIn and Facebook. Go to that website. It's unchainedforsuccess.com, and you can connect with me there. That's the best place to actually connect with me.
Love it. Well, congratulations to you again, Clement. So glad we had a chance to talk, and looking forward to our next chat together.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, it definitely was. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, I'm Cyrus Webb saying thank you so much for being with us. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.